Grace and peace, and spoiler alert for the movie Train to Busan. My name is Ryan. I'm the movie pastor. I watch movies and I engage with them as texts, interpreting them theologically. Train to Busan is a Korean zombie movie, and it's a movie about individualism versus communalism. Do we look out first for ourselves and for our own, or do we look out for what's best for everyone? And does this change under moments of crisis, or does it only become more important? This is an incredibly important subject and a particularly interesting one for a South Korean movie to engage in, because South Korea is a South Asian country, and like the vast majority of South Asian cultures, it tends historically to be more communalistic. But South Korea, in particular, among South Asian countries, has an enormous dependency on the US and capitalism and US culture. And so the fact that the main character is a fund manager, a word that doesn't even translate into Korean. They say pondo manager, which is not just me making fun of a Korean American's accent. That's literally my best attempt to pronounce the Korean word that I'll put on the screen there. Pondo manager is significant. They're trying to indicate that he's following a Western American individualistic lifestyle, and he has an American type job. And the first thing we see him do is sell stocks to a pharmaceutical company very suddenly under orders, and we don't know what the context is, we don't know what it means, but it's very clear that doing that is going to hurt a lot of people. But he does it. And then he goes home and tries to relate with his daughter, but he can't because she is communalistic. So they end up on a train during the zombie apocalypse, and on that train we continually are introduced to people in terms of how they relate with others. That's how we get to know characters in Train to Busan. Two old ladies, one of whom is always taking care of the other. A team of baseball players and the girl who likes one of them. A husband and a pregnant wife who parent the little girl of the main character more than the main character does. Train employees seeking to do their duty and maintain professionalism. And finally, a horribly selfish millionaire who makes our hero look practically communalistic by comparison to his incredible selfishness. And in much of the first act of the movies, zombies are repeatedly held up by doors. We try to close doors on them. So this is paid off near the climax as a group of survivors close a door on another group of survivors. Why did we always keep the zombies behind doors? Because we were building to this symbolism. We make the other survivors zombies. And you see, in that scene, you see appendages flailing and reaching through the doors the way the zombies were. Or are they? Are those survivors stuck behind the doors, the zombies? Are they the voracious, mindless creatures who eat their own? We get our answer a few scenes later when the weak group is walled off in the vestibule and the group that was previously safe is suddenly attacked and thereafter converted, made to be what they were always meant to be, the voracious undead. Zombies travel in hordes. They threaten as a group, but are they truly communalistic? Or is a zombie individualistic? It is a classic trope in a zombie movie to have someone hide a zombie bite. That's like one of the things, if you're making a zombie movie, you either gotta do that scene or you gotta reference that scene and like subvert it in some way. We even use that as a metaphor in society for selfishness and amorality, right? Oh, that's the kind of guy who would hide a zombie bite. If you won't wear your mask, you probably would hide a zombie bite. In this movie, not only do we not see that among a zombie outbreak contained only within Korea, but we see several people get bitten and be immediately honest about it, using their remaining time to save others. This is interesting in a time of corona. If you would hide a zombie bite, would you hide your symptoms of a pandemic? Would you hide your cough? And could it be that might have a little bit to do with why South Korea fared so much better than the United States in this pandemic? Make no mistake, people. Jesus is communalistic. Jesus is not an American. He comes from a communalistic Asian culture. He's from Asia. That's where Jerusalem is located. The Hebrew culture, the culture of the ancient Near East, even the Greek imperial culture is to a large extent communalistic. And if you are watching this video now without subtitles, you probably come from an individualistic culture, and even a hyper-individualistic one like the US. Translation has happened to get Jesus to you. You're experiencing Jesus with subtitles on. Jesus loves you. Have you heard that phrase? Jesus loves you. It's misleading. Actually, a better translation of that sentiment, which is true, which is in scriptures, would be Jesus loves y'all. Jesus gave up his life for y'all, for multiple yous, not for you individually, individualistically, and only you, and keep it to yourself, but for your whole community, for your family, for your tribe, for your culture, for your nation, and for every nation. And so for us, a lot is going to be accomplished. If we desire to get closer to Jesus, if we desire to take some of our cultural blinders off, that skew us in a particular American direction, one really useful way to undo some of that is going to be by listening to cultures that can teach us to put less focus on the I and more on the we. Movies like Train to Busan are important for your theological and spiritual development.